Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Okay, so today I'm excited. We're going to be making the dress, okay, that you're seeing now. So that's the dress we're making now. Let me take us through the things that we will need. That's the materials. Okay, so today we're going to draft a full scale block. All right, so I'll take us through the drafting process of a full scale block. Okay, so the materials we will need, obviously we'll need our measuring tape, yes, our pencil. Now it's a corset, so we're making use of bra cups. Okay, so her bust is 40, so the this bra cup size is 40 as well. Okay, now we're going to be making use of our curves, so our curve rulers, and now the materials we'll be working with. This is an organza. Okay, so this is 6 years of organza, and we have our zip. Okay, now we have our doll face bridal satin, and we have our regime bone. Okay, so this is the, think about 0.4 or 0.5 inch wide regime bone. Okay, so these are the materials that we will need to making this lovely dress. Okay, so let's not waste time, so we'll jump right into the drafting of the full scale block. So to begin our drafting, I'll start by labeling this. Okay, so I just went ahead to divide. Okay, so the widest part of her body is her hip, is the circumference where the blouse is stopping. Okay, so and that is 41. Now I went ahead to divide that into two, so 41 into 2, that's 20.5. Okay, so I just added extra allowances because of the darts. Okay, so what I have here is 13 inches, okay, and 13 inches. Now we'll call here our back, okay, and here is our front. Now let's proceed with our measurements. Okay, so we will start from the back. Okay, now her the standard neck width is 3 inches by 1 for the back and 3 by 3 for the front. But if you don't want to make use of that, you can go ahead and divide your bust round by 12. So you can go ahead and divide your bust round by 12, and but in this case I'm going to be making use of neck width of 3, okay, and neck depth of 1 inch for the back. Now her shoulder is 16, so 16 over 2 will give us 8 inches. Okay, and the shoulder slope for the back standard is 1 inch. Okay, so I want this video to be a bit fast. Okay, so I'll go ahead and connect my points. Okay, and here we have it for the back. Now we'll repeat the same thing on the front. Okay, so her front neck depth of 3 inches, okay, neck width of 3 inches as well. Okay, shoulder of 8. Now her shoulder is 16 divided by 2, that's 8. Now the shoulder slope for the front is a standard, and that's 1.5. So I'll go ahead and connect all these measurements. Okay, and here we have it. Let's proceed. Now to get the chest line is a standard procedure as well. So you're going to simply divide your bust round divided by 6 plus 1.5. okay, and her bust round is 40, so 40 divided by 6 plus 1.5. now the 1.5 is not a constant. If you want your armhole to be a bit up, okay, if you don't want it so deep, you can go ahead and do plus 1.5. but in this case I'll be doing bust round divided by 6 plus 1. Okay, That is because remember, this dress is a bit of a tube. Okay, so I don't want the armhole to be very deep. Now, whatever you get, okay, that's if you're by the time you make use of your own measurements, you're going to place it on the back, okay, because if you place that measurement on the front, you're going to have a very deep armhole, and that's not what we want. Okay, so her bust round over 6 plus 1 will give us 7.6. Okay, now I will go ahead and add my 1 inch shoulder slope for the back, and 7.6 plus 1 will give me 8.6. So I'll go ahead and make a mark there. Now I'll mark this 8.6 across this block, okay, because we want to get a straight line. Okay, so I have my 8.6 here. Now I'll go ahead with my ruler. Okay, and here we have it. And you guys know I like to label. Okay, so I'll call here my chest line, okay, my CHL. Okay, so that's my chest line. Now let's proceed with our markings. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is to bring your shoulder measurement and mark it on the same chest line, on the chest line. Okay, remember I told us that her shoulder measurement is 16, and 16 divided by 2 is 8. Okay, I'll repeat the same on the front as well. Okay, so, and I'll go ahead and connect this. Okay, now I'm using the line to connect this because we don't actually make use of that line. Okay, so I'm using the line to connect. Okay, now let's proceed with our markings. Okay, so let's move to the front. We'll go ahead and mark her vertical measurements. Okay, now her bust point is 10.5, so you're simply going to place your tape on the starting point, okay, and mark your 10.5. okay, now her under bust length is 14, and her half length for the front is 18. Okay, now the full length, we're drafting a full scale block. Okay, so the full blouse length is 23. Now we're going to repeat the same thing here. Okay, place your tape and mark. Okay, bust point of 10.5, under bust point of 14, half length of 18 for the front, okay, and the full blouse length of 23. Now I'll go ahead and connect these lines, and here we have it. Now, as usual, we'll label. This is our bust point, we'll call it our BP, our under bust line, okay, our half length for the front, and then this is the full length. Okay, so we'll go ahead and repeat the same thing on the back. Okay, if you notice, I did not extend the bust point under bust, okay, on the back block. That is because it does not apply on the back. Okay, so on the back, the only thing you need to do is to go ahead and measure your back half length. Okay, and in this case, her back half length is 15.5. okay, now the full length for the back is 20.5. all right, now I know you'll be wondering why the difference. The difference is simple. Your front length and your back length is not the same. Okay, so I will just leave it at that for now. We'll still come back to that. Okay, so her back half length is 15.5. The full blouse length for the back is 20.5. Now I'll go ahead and connect these markings. Okay, and here we have it. Now let me give us a little explanation why the two lengths. Okay, so let me give us a little explanation why the two measurements are not the same. Okay, now it's simple. Get a tape or an elastic and just tie around your natural waistline. Okay, and you measure yourself, okay, from your shoulder to that point on the front, and you measure from your shoulder to that point at the back as well. Now you will find out that the two measurements are not the same. Okay, for some people their front can be 17, that's shoulder to the waist, and that's for the front, and their shoulder to the waist at the back will be 15. Now you find that the difference is 2. Now for some people it's 2.5. Okay, so you need to get yours because it's never the same. Okay, now that we have explained that, let's continue with our markings. The next thing we need to mark is her bust round. Now her bust round is 40, and 40 divided by 4 is 10. Okay, so I'm placing my tape here, and I'll go ahead and mark my 10 inch. Okay, so I'll go ahead and mark my 10 inches. Okay, now the next thing I need to mark is her waist, and you will mark that on the half length. Okay, this half length or waist. Okay, so it's half length or waist length. Okay, now her waist round is 35, and 35 divided by 4 is 8.75. So I'll go ahead and place my tape, and I'll mark my 8.75 as well. Now on this waist I want to add a dart allowance of 1.5 inches, so I'll go ahead and measure that out and mark. Okay, now you need to take the circumference of your blouse. Okay, so you need to take the circumference of your blouse. Okay, so what that simply means is wherever the length of your blouse is. Okay, so what that simply means is wherever your blouse is stopping, that's at the full length of your blouse, you need to take the round measurement, okay, at that point. And for my client, the circumference of her blouse is 41, and 41 divided by 4 is 10.25. So I'll go ahead and place my tape here as well, and I'll mark my 10.25. Then you also need to add an allowance of 0.5. Okay, I will explain the essence of the 0.5 for us, but for now let's go ahead and connect our points. So we're connecting from the bust round. Now if you notice, I marked my bust round on the chest line. Okay, that's where you're supposed to mark your measurement. So I have connected, and I also connected to the full length of the blouse like so, and here we have it. Let's proceed to the back. Okay, but before you mark anything on the back, the first thing you need to do is to tighten your back. Okay, and we'll do that on the waistline or on the half length for the back, okay, which is this line. Now I'll come in from here by 0.5. okay, so I'm using 0.5 to tighten my back. Now I'll go ahead and connect it to my neck depth. Okay, remember my neck depth of 1 inch. Now it's either you connect it to the neck depth or you simply divide these 2 points into 2. That's from your chest line to your neck depth. You can divide that into 2, and then you connect from your you connect your 0.5 to that point, or you just connect it to your neck depth. Okay, so either of them works, but for this pattern drafting I will connect to the neck depth. Okay, and I also go ahead and connect to this point. Okay, now I told us that I will explain the reason why the front the full blouse length on the front is longer than the back. Now it's simple. Her half length is 18, okay, for the front, and her half length for the back is 15.5. So that difference is 2.5. So it's simple. When you mark your full blouse length of 23, go ahead and subtract your own difference, and in this case it's 2.5. So 23 minus 2.5 will give us 20.5. okay, so I hope that's clear enough. If you have any other question, you can write that in the comment section. Okay, so let's proceed with our marking. Now we'll go ahead and mark our bust round, told us that our her bust round is 40 over 4 is 10. Now pay attention, I'm placing my tape um after this point. Okay, so my tape is not starting from the blue line, it's starting from the pencil line. Okay, so bust over 4 is 10. Okay, and on the waistline we'll mark her waist round. Her waist round is 35 over 4 is 8.75. Okay, so 8.75. And my data allowance for the back, I want to use 1 inch. Okay, now we'll move to the full length. Okay, now the circumference at that point is 41 over 4 is 10.25. Okay, and we're also adding our 0.5 allowance. Okay, so I'll go ahead and connect these points. Now, however yours comes, just make sure that you're working with your measurements. Okay, so however your own shape comes out, just know that is your measurement. All right, so let's proceed with our markings. Now let's move over to the armhole. So let's proceed to the armhole. And for the back armhole, you're simply going to place your tape like so, rest it on the chest line, and fold it into 2. Now we're trying to get the midpoint of this line. Okay, now at that midpoint you just make a mark and you come in by half an inch. Okay, this will eliminate every form of puff, okay, and bulging around your armhole. Okay, now I'll come in with my curve ruler and I'll rest it, okay, like so. So I'll rest my ruler here. Okay, okay, and here we have it. Now moving over to the front, what you're going to do is to simply come up from the chest line by 3 inches. Okay, so for the front, come up on the chest line by 3 inches, and at that point you go in by 0.5 or 0.75. okay, but we'll go in by 0.75. all right, so let's connect. So it's the same connection. Use a straight line to connect to the shoulder tip, and you come in with your curve ruler like so. Okay, okay, so and here we have it. Now the next thing we need to mark is our dart. Okay, now her bust span is 8 inches, okay, and half of that is 4. Now I'll place my tape from the bust point and I'll mark my 4 inches. Place it on the under bust, mark my 4 inches. On the half length, mark my 4 inches. Full length, and mark my 4 inches. Okay, so I'll go ahead and connect these points using a straight line. Okay, now you remember our dart allowance of 1.5 inches. We're going to divide that into 2. So 1.5 divided by 2 is 0.75. So we'll mark 0.75 on this side and 0.75 on the other side. Okay, now we'll proceed to connect our points. Remember, our markings started from the bust point and not on the chest line. So we'll connect this way, okay, and this way as well. Okay, now we're extending it to the full length of the blouse like so. Okay, and here we have it. Now the next thing for the front that we're going to do is to mark our bust dart. So remember our bust dart allowance of 2.5 inches. Okay, now you place your tape on the bust point line and you come down by your own difference, and in this case it's 2.5 inches. Okay, so I'll go ahead and connect from the bust point to that 2.5 inches. Okay, and here we have it. We're done with the front. Now let's proceed to the back. So we'll go ahead and mark our bust span. Remember I told us that our bust span is 8. So 8/2 is 4. Now we will place it. Now I'm placing my tape on the blue line, okay? So I'll place my tape on the blue line and I'll make a mark at my 4 inches. The waistline as well. I'm placing my tape on the blue line, okay? And I'll make a mark on my 4 inches as well. Now on the full length, I'm doing the same. I'm making a mark on my 4 inches. Now on this chest line, I'll come down by 1 inch, okay? This is to eliminate that sharp, pointy look, okay? Now I'll go ahead and connect these points using a straight line. Okay, let's go ahead and mark our dart intake. Remember we added 1 inch allowance for our dart intake. Now we're going to divide that 1 inch into 2, and that's 0.5. So I'm marking 0.5 on this side and 0.5 on the other side. So I'll go ahead and connect my points. Have it. So the back is ready. Okay, now ladies and gentlemen, this is our full scale block, okay, with our bust darts, everything inclusive. Now we'll proceed with the alteration.